Homeopathy for Health in Africa is a non-profit organisation working to help some of the world's most vulnerable citizens. They're a 100% donor-funded grassroots organisation that creates on-the-ground sustainable healthcare programs through homeopathic treatment and training. I personally only donate to organisations where I know the money will go directly to the people who need it most, instead of getting gobbled up in advertising and administration. So I am a proud sponsor of Homeopathy for Health in Africa, and I can be rest assured that my $22 monthly contribution will buy 10 prepared homeopathic remedies or pay for one of the locals to organise an outreach clinic. I love that such a small amount keeps homeopathy alive and helps so many people. Change comes from action, not thought. So if you're somebody who wants to make a difference for the future of homeopathy, donate now by visiting www.homeopathyforhealthinafrica.org. That's homeopathyforhealthinafrica.org. And in case you're wondering, this advert is sponsored by me. So not a cent has been spent on advertising, which means more money can go to the people who need it most. It is not often that an opportunity comes along where we can reach people on a global scale and show them exactly what homeopathy is. That opportunity is now finally here, and we need you, every single one of you, to make this a reality. Today's guest, Kim Elia, is the founder of Whole Health Now. Kim and a team of Emmy-winning producers and accredited journalists will tell the story of homeopathy in a new film called Introducing Homeopathy. And through interviews with some of the leading minds in the homeopathic and greater scientific fields, case studies of homeopathic success stories backed up by scientific method, and explorations of the latest research, technology, and state-of-the-art production of homeopathic medicines. Introducing Homeopathy will be a professionally produced film being shown on such platforms as Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, and Apple TV. This is going to be the only way we can reach far and wide and touch the lives of millions of people who are not yet aware of the amazing healing ability of homeopathy. Please, if you can, dig deep. We all need this movie to be a success, and this is your chance to be part of the homeopathic revolution. You can watch the trailer and donate to make this happen at www.introducinghomeopathy.com. You can also get some amazing gifts for your donation. Thanks. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today, we get to hang out with the lovely Kim Elia, who is the founder of Whole Health Now. Welcome, Kim.
Oh, thank you so much, Eugenie, for inviting me.
It is so absolutely wonderful to have you on. I've done several of your courses. One of my favorites was the pediatrics one with Dr. George Yerg. That was so good. He is absolutely unbelievable. And he really helped me to see children in such a different way when they come into the clinic and the things that they do. So yeah, thank you, especially for getting him on your program.
Oh, well, it's great. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, I think the synthesis of semiotics and homeopathy makes a lot of sense. And yeah, what he has to offer is a tremendous benefit, no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Whole Health Now has incredible courses on homeopathy, and you've got software and you've got books. But what we're actually going to be talking about today is something a little bit different. You have got a movie that you're in the process of making called Introducing Homeopathy. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about, why you decided to make this and a little bit about the movie itself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think it was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to prepare a course on the history of homeopathy. And it ended up being a 25-hour course discussing almost every facet of the different aspects of what's gone on in our history. And so I learned a lot about homeopathy and many amazing stories. Like, for example, when in 1860, when the Republicans swept into office, they were all promoting and advocating for homeopathy. Abraham Lincoln was an advocate of homeopathy. Rutherford B. Hayes was an advocate of homeopathy. James Garfield was an advocate of homeopathy. William McKinley. And so, I said, wow, look, there's this whole hidden history about homeopathy. And so that was the first thing that got me really involved in trying to understand our roots to a more significant degree. And then I started another project. It's a homeopathic telemedicine service called Global Natural Health Solutions. And I decided that we needed to create some videos for that particular service. And so I was looking for different people to work with, and I was interviewing different individuals. And I came across this particular person by the name of Julian. And we hit it off right away. He was a lovely human being. And most importantly, his father was an acupuncturist. And so he was extremely sympathetic to natural medicine and to energetic medicine. And so he really has, dived into this wholeheartedly. And, it's for him, it's now it's a real passionate project. It's not just something where he's going to make some money from. And so basically we teamed up with him. He's made some very wonderful short little videos for that other project that I'm working on. And he's got a lot of connections in the film industry. Some of the people that we're working with were involved in major productions on Netflix and Amazon. And so we're very confident, actually, that we'll be able to show this professional film on one of these types of venues. And that's very important from us because then we can expose homeopathy to a much larger audience and, get people to really be aware that there's this incredibly beneficial system of therapeutics that can help them tremendously that they may not be aware of presently.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the Whole Health Now website, you have a video there as well where yourself and some of the other major contributors to the film, as well as the movie maker, all, talk a little bit about why this movie was done or needs to be made. And I just had to have a giggle that, Jeremy's involved with the Kardashian or has been part of the Kardashians as well, which is kind of funny, but obviously that's probably one of the biggest shows on earth. And to have somebody like that also has this background in the acupuncture working on the film seems to me like a really good recipe for success.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, a combination of reality TV and homeopathy. It's quite the synthesis. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got some other amazing homeopaths all involved in this. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most amazing things, Eugenie, is that the level of support from our profession has been incredible. I contacted, for example, the National Center for Homeopathy, and they were immediately supportive of the project, and they join on board, and they're going to be sending out emails to their membership. Same thing with Americans for Homeopathy Choice. That's Paula Brown's organization. They got a huge membership, 60,000, 70,000 people, and she's totally on board. I contacted Hahnemann Labs and Ohm Pharma and various other institutions and schools, and basically it's been 100% across the board. Everyone's been fully supportive. And so that's what's really exciting is that you can feel the whole entire homeopathic community coming together to collaborate cooperatively to produce this professional film that will change the perception of homeopathy for the general public.
Amazing. Now, we already have a couple of pretty awesome documentaries. We've got Magic Pills and we've got Just One Drop. So why do you feel this movie is important and needs to see the light and get out there?
Those were interesting films. I don't know that they were quite at the level of professionalism that we're looking at. I'm not sure that those films necessarily could be shown on a venue like Netflix. Maybe they could. I'm not so sure. And I think the approach that they used in those films was very interesting as well. We really want to present an overview of the history of homeopathy, the scientific research that supports its efficacy, and the journey, the transformational journey that people take when they begin to get involved in homeopathy, either as a practitioner or as an educator or as a patient. And so this is kind of a triptych. In other words, there's three things that we're trying to convey: the history, the roots, the origin of homeopathy, the incredible amount of vast scientific research which supports it, and then the journey that people go through, the transformational journey that people go through when they get involved in homeopathy. And so that's why we call it Introducing Homeopathy. It's a grand argument that explains why the world on a global level needs to begin to embrace and utilize homeopathy as another system of therapeutics to complement what already is being employed.
I like that. And I mean, I cannot even imagine what will be involved in getting something on Netflix. I'm going to go on a limb here and guess that it must be a huge, huge job. So how are you going about that? And what's involved in something like that, getting your documentary on Netflix?
I don't know much about it, but the filmmaker that I'm working with has a lot of connections in the film industry. And some of the people who are involved in this project, as I said previously, have made award-winning shorts and other types of films for things like Netflix and Amazon. And so that gives us a certain amount of leverage. We have these connections. And because we're very confident that this film will be at the highest professional level. We believe that it's something that will be acceptable to these types of operations. Joking around, I like to tell people that I'm already preparing my acceptance speech at the Tribeca Film Festival for Best New Documentary.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, actually, as I was listening to this hour interview that you have on Whole Health now with all the people involved, one of the ladies towards the end, I think it was Carol Boyce, was saying about, she's visualizing you at the Oscars accepting your award. And I was like, I could so see that happening as she was saying that.
I love it. Carol's great.
It.
I actually worked on a film with Carol previously. We did together a film called Homeopathy Around the World, which is a 50-minute long film that talks about homeopathy in 12 different countries around the world. I think Cuba, Tanzania, Haiti, United Kingdom, all these different countries around the world. And it's a beautiful film, and it's got amazing music, and the whole story behind it is incredible. But she did an amazing job. She was actually creating it while her father was passing. And she managed to put it together just the day before it was supposed to be shown. I didn't even actually get to see it until the night before it was supposed to get its unveiling. But it was an amazing story. And it's an incredible film. And I'm so happy to have her involved in this project. She's going to be able to contribute tremendously.
Amazing. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on as well when we talk about the goodies that people can receive when they donate towards the cause. But I quickly wanted to jump back. You said the transformational journey is going to be in this movie. So are you using actual footage from people who have had consultations, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we went down to the Bay Area recently and we interviewed, I think, 3 or 4 different patients who had very life-changing experiences using homeopathy. Some of these were actually very poor people. Some of them were actually homeless. It was people who had gone to a clinic that was serving the needy. And we interviewed the woman who's basically supervising the clinic and a few of her patients, and it was incredible. And on top of that, we actually had the idea of actually filming actual live cases, because this woman does clinics all over the world, and she does them in New Orleans and Minneapolis. So we're going to actually travel around and actually get live footage of people's cases actually being taken so that we can record the actual results that happen in real time. So yes, absolutely, we're going to include the incredible power that homeopathy has to not just affect people's physical health issues, but even to transform their mental and emotional state as well.
Amazing. And you mentioned about research. So who have you got involved in the research side of things? And can you give us a little bit of a taster of what you're expecting to have in the film regarding the research side of homeopathy?
It's so funny you should ask me that, because I spoke this morning with Dana Ullman. Do you know Dana?
Yes, he's been on my podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Dana, I consider him to be the foremost expert
I agree.
On homeopathic research in the world today. And I spoke to him this morning. He's going to be heavily involved. He's got 2 major things that he can contribute. One is first of all, he's got a tremendous knowledge of the cultural heroes of homeopathy. And that's very important. Like, one of the stories that I want to share is the story about Beethoven's physician being a homeopath.
Oh, you have to tell that. Yeah, I heard that on the video you did. Please share that with our listeners.
Yeah, it's a wonderful story. I mean, basically, Beethoven was very sick. I think he had some type of GI disorder. His physician was a homeopath. His physician cured him of his gastrointestinal issues, and he went on to write some incredible music, including the late string quartets. Opus 131, for example, is considered the pinnacle of Western classical music. And we could honestly say that had it not been for homeopathy, we wouldn't have Opus 131, and we wouldn't have some of these other late string quartets, and we would be missing one of the great cultural treasures that exists in Western civilization. So there are many amazing stories like that. And Dana is really a perfect individual to convey those stories. He wrote a wonderful book on cultural heroes in homeopathy. So that's one area that he's going to contribute. He's also got a lot of connections with famous personages, including people in the rock and roll industry. So, for example, we know Paul McCartney has come out and said that he, uses homeopathy. Well, how wonderful would it be to have Paul McCartney interviewed in the film, or even have Paul McCartney's music, or maybe he could compose a song for the film. Roger Daltrey's son was cured using homeopathy. How wonderful would it be to have Roger Daltrey from The Who, or Peter Townsend from The Who, or any of these famous actors?
Well, Cher has actually said that she wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for homeopathy. And
Yeah, there you go.
Jay Jagger's daughter is a homeopath.
Yes, Bianca Jenker's daughter. That's correct, right? So there's all these people, and I guess Dana is familiar with many, knows them. I guess he went out to dinner with Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, like a number of weeks ago, and they were talking, and Bob was talking about how much homeopathy had helped his family.
Wow.
So we're going to get people like that in the film, and I think that's very important because when you see your own heroes using something and discussing it and talking about how much it's benefited them, that carries a great deal of weight. So that'll be another area. And then, of course, he has a tremendous level of expertise in homeopathic research. And so there are a number of individuals. Actually, what we're doing is we're creating teams to focus on different aspects of this project. And people are welcome to join those various teams and help us to make sure that the information we're conveying is 100% accurate. And Dana will be very, very helpful in that respect.
Well, you are definitely onto a winner by having Dana there because his knowledge is just insane and, on so many different levels as well. So, and his history of homeopathy as well. It's really amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really mind-blowing. So talk to me a little bit about the teams. How do people get involved and where do they go to find out more about that?
Well, we're just setting that up right now. It's mostly been volunteers who, after we did that webinar, just contacted us. We didn't solicit anybody, but they simply, I think maybe about 13, 14 people contacted us and said they wanted to help in various areas. We had a copy editor, we had a project manager, we've had people who are involved in marketing, fundraising. So many people have stepped forward and we've asked them to join these various teams, including the individuals who were on that webinar that I did a few weeks ago. So, we're going to send out emails letting people know that if they would like to participate and join one of these teams, they're welcome to do so.
Okay, so quickly run our listeners through the website and where's the best places to get hold of you to make sure that they're not missing out on any important information.
Yeah, so the original URL we had was reintroducinghomeopathy.com, and that still does work, reintroducing, or we now have the URL introducinghomeopathy.com. So you can go, either one is fine, either one will work. You can Google Introducing Homeopathy and you'll find our website. And you can go there. You'll see a number of wonderful little videos that we've created. There's a teaser for the film. There's 3 videos that we created for Global Natural Health Solutions. There are a couple of other videos that we created that are very amusing and entertaining. And I think you mentioned we also have for people on that site an area where you can make donations because we are trying to raise $250,000 to create this film. And interestingly enough, I didn't realize this, but about half of that goes to production, but the other half actually goes to marketing and promotion. And I was not aware that there was so much funds budgeted for that purpose. But anyway, you can go to the website, you can make donations in various amounts, and you actually get gifts back. We had talked earlier about the film I made with Carol Boyce, Homeopathy Around the World. If you make, I think, a $30 or $25 donation, you get a copy of that film. And then depending on if there's larger donations that you make, you can get courses from Whole Health Now. We've had many different organizations in the homeopathic community who have made contributions of one-off items like big homeopathic software programs or $3,000 or $4,000 homeopathy courses. And because these are items for which we only have one, we've decided that at the end of August, we're going to do an auction and we're going to auction off these items. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun because you can imagine coming on and a lot of the items will be homeopathic items, but there'll be non-homeopathic items as well. And everyone will be welcome to join the auction. We'll create a little website for it. You'll be able to bid ahead of time and then participate in the live auction. And of course, we'll use those funds to pay for the production and marketing of the film.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And actually, $250,000 to produce something that's going to be on Netflix actually doesn't sound like very much. I'm actually wondering how you're able to do it for that good a price.
Well, that's a good question. You're right. It's not very much. Normally, it's quite a bit more. But again, I remember that Julian, the filmmaker, is very personally passionate about this particular project. He's personally invested in it, and he's helping us to make it make a professional film for really a shoestring budget.
Sorry, Julian. I think I said your name, Jeremy, earlier. So, yeah,
No worries.
that's Julian. I just quickly want to go back to what you've said and just really reiterate the donations, because you just skimmed over it. But there's actually some kick-ass things that people can get for making the donations. So I'm just on your website at the moment, introducinghomeopathy.com. So for $30, you get that Homeopathy Around the World DVD. And this is so nice because, I would have given you guys a couple of $100 donation anyway, not expecting anything in return. So the fact that you're actually getting something for your donation is really nice. So for $50, you can get the Understanding the Noble Gases online course with Jeremy Sher. $100.
That's who you were thinking of. You were thinking of Jeremy Sher.
Oh, no. When you were talking about, when I talked about the movie maker earlier. Yeah. I thought okay. We'll just use that excuse. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
For $100, you get the Homeopathic Treatment of Diabetes course with the amazing Dr. Farokh Master, who I've also had on the show. And I've also had his daughter, Ruksheen Master, as well. For $250, you get the Homeopathic Treatment of Anxiety, Depression, and Jealousy with the one and only Kim Elia. And for $500, you get the Organon online course with Joe Calistine. That's actually worth almost $800. So that is really good. And for $1,000, you get the Homeopathic Masterclass for the entire online course with Dr. Farokh Master, which is going to be amazing. He's such a good educator. So it's incredible that you've got all these gifts that people are receiving just by donating to this movie. And I was thinking this morning, I haven't made up my donation yet. I was hoping to do it before our interview, but I will do it straight after. That once I can see you there at the Oscars and me thinking, oh, that's so nice, I've donated towards that movie. Or, once it's out there on Netflix, you can say to your friends, oh, that movie, I helped to donate towards that. I helped to make it a reality. So I think everyone should donate generously towards this cause, because this message needs to get out there and we all need to band together. There's billions of us around the world. Okay, there's like 500,000, how many billion people? It's a few billion people that use homeopathy. Oh, no. What was I think in one of the documentaries, they said 500 million people use homeopathy
that sounds about right.
Yeah, let's go with 500 million, roughly. So if all of us just chip in a little bit, hopefully more, then we can really make this a reality.
Yeah, if all 500 million donate $1, we'll get $500 million.
Exactly. Easy peasy. And why do you feel, Kim, that it's important to make this movie now? Not like 5 years ago, not 5 years in the future. Like, why is now the time to make this movie?
Especially with what's transpired over the last few years with the health situation on the globe. I don't want to spend too much time about it, but the response to the pandemic, unfortunately, created a situation where we're now much more vulnerable to future epidemics and pandemics, because pandemics and epidemics are always directly tied to the health of your economy. And by locking down and shutting down the economy, we've lowered the hygiene level and made us significantly more vulnerable. So we're in a very risky situation right now in the globe. And fortunately, we know that homeopathy has been incredibly effective in the treatment of epidemics and pandemic diseases, incredibly highly effective. Thomas Lindsley Bradford, who wrote The Logic of Figures in the early 20th century, documented statistically the efficacy of homeopathy in the treatment of these epidemic diseases. And, the homeopaths would get 2 to 4% mortality rates, and, everybody else would get 40 to 60% mortality rates. So if these epidemics and pandemics do arise, we do hold in our hands this powerful tool that can stave off terrible suffering. And so I think people need to be aware that we have this amazing Renaissance science available to us that can be so effective in helping alleviate the suffering of so many beings on this planet. So I think any time is the right time for this to come out, but I think the stars are aligned, and I think we're going to make it happen. And I think it's going to change the perception of homeopathy. And I think so many people will be able to benefit from that. It's a worthwhile endeavor for sure.
Amazing. I'm just looking forward to this movie reaching so many people around the world, because there are such bizarre, confusing ideas of what homeopathy is out there. Like, people just really have no idea. Laurel Chaitin's film, I just laugh where, she goes on the street and asks people what their ideas of homeopathy. And one of the people at the start of the film says, oh, homeopathy is when you touch yourself in a weird way. And seriously, like that people have the bizarrest conception of what they think homeopathy is. So I am very excited about this movie and just, setting the record straight and getting it out to the mainstream because, we can chat to each other. We're all converted. We all use homeopathy. We're all passionate about it, but that's not making a difference in the bigger scheme. We need to reach those people who are maybe depressed, they are chronically ill and they feel like there is no hope for them. The medical profession might not have anything to offer for them. And if they don't know about homeopathy and the hope that it brings, I feel really sad to think that there's people out there that think there's nothing that can help them, that they're too stuck or they're too far down the hole. So homeopathy is there to help, wherever you are in your life. And I'm excited about this message getting out to the mainstream.
Yeah, great. I couldn't say it better. Yeah, homeopathy, Hahnemann considered homeopathy a gift from God. And if it's a gift from whatever your theological model is, universe and nature, whatever you want to call it, but if it's a gift, then we need to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to take advantage of that wonderful gift.
Absolutely. So this might be a tricky question, but have you got a rough estimate of when you hope to have the movie released?
Well, my filmmaker, Julian, is saying 6 months, but I don't believe him. So I think that's gonna,
I like his optimism.
Yeah. I think a year is more realistic, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's still very quick, actually, for, the amount of stuff that you're going to have in there. Well, we will get this podcast out as soon as possible, Kim. And I really want to urge our listeners, I mean, if you use homeopathy and you love it, we really owe homeopathy a thank you by giving back, donating to this film so that it can reach more people, so homeopathy can stop being under this constant attack worldwide by skeptics. This message needs to get out. Please dig deep, everyone, and please donate towards this incredible cause. And Kim, thank you so, so much for being so brave to do this, because I'm sure you're having a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of insane amount of hours that you're putting into getting all this realized.
I've been putting a lot of hours, but I'm sleeping like a baby because I know that this. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Eugenie, for all the wonderful work you do and for making this information available to your audience. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Take care.